We're coming from the fabulous city of Christchurch in Canterbury, gateway to the whole of the South Island, stunningly beautiful part of the country, third largest city in New Zealand, but with a population of only around 400,000. It's more like a big beautiful town. Even the South Islanders though refer to themselves as the mainlanders. Even though I'm originally from Auckland, Christchurch is now like a second home to me, as 13 of our grandchildren live here. So I'm coming to you from the perspective of a kind of local. Christchurch is where I'm basing the second book in the Europe series. Although it's clearly not Europe, there is a distinct European heritage to Christchurch City. It's referred to as the Garden City of New Zealand because there's magnificent trees, gardens and parks, the amazing Hagley Park and the Avon River. We'll tell the relatively recent story of how earthquakes tragically hit the city, but then the amazing resilience of the rebuild. You'll see how Christchurch in many ways is redefining itself and developing a unique personality with its melding of old and new and the development of an awesome creative side of the city with its street art. We'll highlight the farming culture of the region, the outdoors lifestyle and the unique landscapes. So let's get into it. Book 2, and I am really into it. I wanted this book, this story, to demonstrate the melding of city life and multi-generational farm life as well. And Christchurch and the Canterbury region, it was just perfect for it. Plus the fact that 13 of my grandchildren live here, added bonus. But as I have gone through all these different places and experienced these different farming activities, one thing that's really struck me is how real this New Zealand attitude of she'll be right. It's this, you can do it with whatever's available. It's the resilience, resourcefulness, and it just seems to be typify life down here. So before my characters leave on their journey overseas, I wanted them to experience this foundation of farm, city, family, community that is, I believe, is just such a strong foundation in this area, in this country. So the Christchurch Tales will exemplify all of these things. On February 22nd, 2011, a devastating earthquake hit Christchurch. 185 people sadly lost their lives and thousands more were injured. Yet today, the city is vibrant and vital, but there are still many reminders of that terrible day. In the heart of the city, beside the Avon River, a wall of remembrance has been constructed, and it's a tribute to those who tragically lost their lives. Crumbling, derelict buildings, vacant sites that can't be built on, these are all a stark and constant reminder of the devastation. Then there's the contrast of new and very modern architecture, and it stands right next to the old historical buildings. I think a very cool part is the street art that is now seen all over the inner city. I think it's a positive evidence of the creative resilience of the people of Christchurch. It's interesting, clever art, and it livens the city in the form of paintings, murals on building walls, sculptures, and just a variety of art forms. Christchurch has slowly but surely risen from the rubble of tragedy and devastation. So it's early in the morning. We're at Castle Hill, which is a sort of spectacular landscape about just over an hour out of Christchurch. But as you come around the corner, all of a sudden there's this spectacular rocky landscape, these limestone rocks that have over centuries have been carved into these strange shapes. And so it's got this sort of Middle Earth kind of feeling to it. And so it's got a really, wow, it's kind of cool. It's just a lovely feeling here of solitude and serenity. And the whole area comes with a history of being a refuge and source of food for Māori. Then there are tales of this gigantic Haast eagle, Pouakai, terrorising the local people. It just seemed an obvious place to include in my book. It's the ultimate wide game. It could be really fun. Okay, so I've got to introduce you to Stuart Jr. actually. So my 7-year-old grandson and I share a real love of sloths, and I asked him what his name was, and again didn't hesitate, says Stuart Jr. So Stuart Jr. is now coming on these trips, and the fact that he's got a pocket in his back, that's where secret things are revealed. Stuart will feature like in this landscape here, where I'll hide him, take photos, and then the children will have to find him. We've been doing this with the grandchildren and they are loving it. Watch for Stuart Jr. Farming of one sort or another is the backbone of the Christchurch Canterbury culture. I went out looking for different types of farming, especially where there were children involved, and I came up with some amazing things. One place, sheep station, where old comfortably coexists with new, with tradition and new things, and where bulls comfortably coexist with horses and sheep in one paddock. And the same place where there's a beautiful stream flowing through a lush garden and trees and a tree hut, and it just became this wonderland for a child's imagination. And then a sheep farm where the owners have made it a learning centre, and watching people of all ages learn about shearing and sheep and the amazing qualities of wool. And then there's the young entrepreneurial sheep milker, a young girl 10 years old who milks 3 sheep, and with the milk she makes cheese, and then she sells the milk and cheese, you know, and she has figured it all out on her own, and she's doing such a great job. And then there's the young beekeeper, and his dad keeps 500 hives, and so he's learning how to look after the 25 million bees that live in those hives. And then the kids who just help look after the family hens and delight in gathering up the eggs for their family to eat. And then the puppy carers, these kids who are helping their parents to raise these little puppies, which will become the working dogs on these sheep stations. And so as I visited all of these, and from the rolling plains to the hills and then the high country, what hit me was that they are just simply living life, but they're doing it really well. I would have to say that the rivers and streams that flow down from the mountains and the glacial lakes and little springs are one of my favourite things about the South Island. And whether it's the calm, meandering Avon, or these little bubbling streams, or just the bigness of the mighty Waimakariri or Clutha, I just find the South Island rivers to be good for my soul. A Kiwi favourite, Tim Tam Slam. Let's bite the corner, bite one corner and then turn it over and bite the other corner. Okay, and now the slam. Ready?
Work fast.
You got to go down, suck it up like a straw. Oh my goodness. Is that perfectly melted? Yeah. The Avon River just wanders through Christchurch. It's like it's travelling through time. And it glides past these stands of old established trees and past shimmering lakes. And then I think it's just the perfect place to go kayaking and just appreciate the quiet. And then there's the punts going up and down. Had to talk to them. It's an old world setting, and that's, you know, there's sports, there's golf, tennis, running, and then there's the botanic gardens and the rose gardens, and they're just so lovingly cared for. They're just beautiful. And there's a real focus on families and this whole feeling of finding peace. Plus there's some wonderfully crazy old trees, just all gnarly and different. If the words wicked, stumps, googly, wrong un, LBW and silly mid-off mean nothing to you, then you're probably not into cricket. But I can tell you it's a really big deal in these parts. How's that? Looking forward to bringing you a unique multi-generational approach to farming. Look forward to some of the most beautiful walks on our 100-kilometre challenge. We're going to take you to some other parts of the South Island that we love and you can't miss. And of course, the launch of Book 2. Don't forget you can already download Book 1 on pcread.com. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe so we can keep having fun on this journey together.